Prayer to Saint Michael the Archangel. Open yourself to the miracle of prosperity. In the stillness of the soul, when all seems lost and the weight of the world feels unbearable, we are not alone. There is a divine warrior who stands ready, his sword raised not in violence, but in protection. Saint Michael the Archangel, defender of the faithful, brings the light of heaven into our darkest moments. If your heart is heavy with worry, if your spirit is weary and your path uncertain, take a deep breath. You've come to the right place. This isn't just a prayer. This is a moment of sacred encounter, a space to let go of fear, lack, and despair. In the name of faith, we're here together now, calling on the power of Saint Michael to break the chains that bind us to scarcity and open the gates to abundance. With every word, may peace settle into your chest. With every breath, may your burdens be lifted. And with every line of this prayer, may your spirit remember that you are never forsaken. Listen closely and pray with me. Let this prayer become a rhythm in your heart, a whisper of hope that grows louder with every repetition. Let Saint Michael stand beside you, not just for protection, but for breakthrough, to release blessings, peace, and true prosperity into your life. Pray with an open heart, with true faith, and prepare yourself for the miracle. Write, "I accept Saint Michael the Archangel to act in my life," in the comments if you believe in the power of this prayer. Share it with someone who also needs a financial blessing today. Saint Michael the Archangel, great defender of light and truth, I call upon you with a heart humbled by trials and wearied by time. You who stood firm in the heavens when darkness rose, come stand beside me now, as a shield, as a guide. Cast out the shadow of fear that clings to my thoughts, and replace it with the flame of divine courage and hope. I have wandered long in the deserts of doubt, but today I stand at the edge of new beginnings. Saint Michael, warrior of divine will, hear my voice. Intercede for me before the throne of the Almighty. Open wide the gates of providence and mercy, and let prosperity flow as the river from the mountain. I do not ask out of greed or prideful longing, but from the ache of need and the weight of daily burdens. You know, O Holy Protector, the heaviness of empty hands, the silence of prayers that wait in patient hope. Come now, blaze a trail through the chaos I face, and let your heavenly strength become my own. Wrap your wings around the weary corners of my soul. Lift my eyes to the light that never fades. Remind me that heaven sees what the world overlooks, and that no cry goes unheard before the Lord. Break the bonds of fear that poverty wraps around me, and declare a new season of overflow and grace. Saint Michael, speak into the barren places of my life. Speak of renewal, of divine restoration, of sacred provision. Let your voice echo through the doubts in my heart, and let each word be a hammer to the walls that limit me. May your flame cut through the fog of despair, and bring clarity, strength, and sacred confidence. I know what it is to struggle and to strain, to watch the doors stay closed despite every effort. But now I surrender every locked place to God. Through your intercession, noble Archangel, knock, and let the doors of opportunity swing open, not by might, but by divine decree and timing. Teach me to walk not in anxiety but in faith, not in desperation but in expectation. Let me sow generously into the soil of belief, knowing the harvest will be great and rich. With you, Saint Michael, fear loses its grip, and hope becomes the anthem of my days. I am not alone, and I never was. You, the mighty captain of the angelic host, have always stood ready to defend and deliver. And now, as I bow my head and open my hands, I believe you are near, powerful and true, sent by God to lift me from lack into light. Break every curse spoken against my prosperity. Silence every voice that rises to steal my peace. Send forth God's angels to guard my home and heart, to bless the work of my hands and the dreams I hold. Let the winds of favor begin to blow my way, and the tide of divine success rise around me. When I feel unworthy of such gifts, remind me, God's mercy isn't earned, it's freely given. Help me to trust that His plan includes abundance, not just for survival, but for joyful living. You, who carry the sword of divine justice, cut away every lie that says I am less than chosen. Prosperity is not just wealth, but peace within, the laughter of loved ones, the joy of purpose. Saint Michael, pray that my spirit be rich in grace, my heart full of thanksgiving and contentment, and as material needs are met through faith, let my soul remain anchored in what is eternal. You fought the battles I couldn't see, shielded me from threats I never knew existed. Now I ask you to clear the path ahead, that I may walk boldly into the fullness of life. Remove delays, distractions, and discouragement, and usher in clarity, energy, and divine alignment. To the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit be all glory, for it is their will that abundance find me now. You are their messenger, their fierce defender, and I trust your presence here means change is near. Saint Michael, guard this moment of transformation, and let every word of this prayer echo in heaven. If doubt dares to return, silence it with truth. If fear creeps near, surround me with your flame. Let me remember always that you fight for me, that the heavens are not indifferent to my need. May I rest each night under angelic watch, and rise each day expecting divine encounters. Bless the work I do and the dreams I dream. Place divine appointments in my path. Open the hearts of those meant to bless me, and close the doors that lead only to harm. Bring mentors, allies, and friends into my circle, so I may rise not alone, but uplifted in community. Prosperity is not meant to isolate but to unify, not to boast, but to bless others in need. May I be generous as I am favored, grateful as I am promoted and provided for. Let every good thing that flows into my life become a testimony of God's enduring faithfulness. Saint Michael, you see the wounds I try to hide, the silent tears, the silent fears, the buried pain. Wrap your light around those broken places, and let healing flow like oil from heaven. Prosper me in joy, in peace, in purpose, so I may walk boldly into the life God designed. I do not seek riches to forget the giver, but to honor him with every resource I gain. Guide me in stewardship, wisdom, and humility, that I may never be consumed by success. Prosper me to give, to lift, to heal, to build, and to stand as a witness of God's overflowing love. Saint Michael, my protector and guide, let this prayer rise like incense to the Lord. Let it break through the heavens with urgency, and bring back the answers long delayed. May angels descend with provision in hand, and miracles arrive without warning or limit. Thank you for your constant intercession. Thank you for standing when I had no strength. Thank you for speaking my name in the courts of heaven, and for calling forth blessings in the name of Christ. Let your presence remain with me through this journey, until prosperity becomes not a wish, but a witness. And now, to all who hear and pray with me, hold on, believe again, speak life. Let Saint Michael fight your battles unseen, while your soul rests in the promise of provision. This is not the end, it is the beginning. In the silence after this prayer, expect the miracle. Saint Michael, commander of heaven's hosts and guardian of the faithful, do not let me fall into despair or discouragement. In every moment where hope seems far, come near. Speak to my heart in whispers of reassurance and truth. For every unanswered question, remind me of God's plan. And for every delay, remind me of divine timing. I ask not only for myself, but for all those I love. May their lives be touched by this same light and favor. Where there is division, bring peace and unity. Where there is sickness, bring healing and rest. And where there is poverty, plant the seeds of abundance. Let your mighty wings stretch over every home in need. You, who faced the fallen one and stood firm in God's glory, teach me to stand in the authority of faith. Help me to renounce every lie of unworthiness, and accept the truth that I am beloved and called. No storm can shake the one whose heart you shield, and no darkness can overtake the soul wrapped in grace. I call forth heavenly rain over dry fields. Let barren dreams bloom again under God's favor. Where there has been loss, let restoration begin. Where there's been silence, let songs of joy arise. I believe prosperity begins within the spirit and flows outward into every part of life. Saint Michael, walk with me into every meeting, into every job, transaction, and conversation. Let me carry the fragrance of heaven wherever I go. So doors open not by charm, but by your hand. Anoint my voice with wisdom and favor, so what I speak brings light and draws blessings. Guard my thoughts against jealousy or greed, and keep my heart pure even in success. Let me never forget the source of every good gift, nor boast in what was given through grace. May my wealth reflect the generosity of God, and may my influence always point to heaven. There are days I still feel unsure and unqualified, but I know that God equips whom He calls. You remind me that strength is not in muscles, but in faith that does not yield to fear. When the journey feels long and the path unclear, be my compass, my courage, and my confidence. Saint Michael, push back every scheme of the enemy. Expose false friends and open my eyes to truth. Let every hidden trap be revealed before I fall, and every whisper of deceit be silenced by light. May no spiritual force prosper against my home, for your sword guards the door and blesses the halls. Place angels around my workplace and my rest, over my finances, my dreams, and my health. Let the light of God pour into every corner of lack, so that even in small beginnings I see His hand. Teach me to wait without wavering, and to sow in faith, knowing the harvest is near. Let every loss be turned to learning and growth. Let every delay deepen my dependence on God. Saint Michael, keep pride from rising in my heart, and teach me the humility that opens heaven's gates. For it is not the wealthy alone who are prosperous, but those whose spirits overflow with peace and purpose. Even when I do not see the evidence yet, let me speak of the miracle as though it's already done. For faith does not walk by sight or senses, but by trust in the one who never fails. You, Saint Michael, know this truth well, for you've seen the faithfulness of God face to face. Surround me with those who strengthen my faith, and remove those who sow confusion or fear. Place wise counselors in my life like beacons, so I do not walk alone in decisions that matter. Let my inner circle reflect your holy presence, and let peace reign over every relationship I keep. May my hands be diligent, my heart be sincere, and my steps be ordered by the divine. Bless the projects I begin and the tasks I complete, so that fruitfulness follows every righteous action, not for my glory, but for God's name alone. Let success be a testimony of His goodness. I thank you in advance for the miracles unseen, for the blessings in transit and the doors preparing to open. Even now, heaven is moving on my behalf. Even now, angels are being dispatched with answers. I will not give in to worry or weariness, for divine help is already on the way. Let the blessing flow not just in my life, but through me to others in need. Make me a vessel of provision and kindness, a reflection of God's heart in a world that aches. Saint Michael, guide me in generosity and justice, so prosperity becomes a ripple of hope. You've seen the kingdom where streets shine like gold, so I trust you to lead me to God's abundance. Help me reject every lie of limitation and step boldly into my divine inheritance. Let my life be marked by overflow and wisdom, not just for me, but for generations to come. Let the children in my care see me walk in faith and inherit a legacy not of fear, but of trust. Saint Michael, bless the family tree I represent. Uproot curses and plant the seeds of favor. Let every branch bloom with righteousness and strength, and bear fruit that lasts beyond my lifetime. Teach me to celebrate others in their blessings, and to trust that there is room for mine too. In a world that competes and compares endlessly, help me find contentment in God's perfect plan. Let envy die and gratitude rise within, as I await my own season of breakthrough. Saint Michael, remind me to pray with confidence, to believe boldly and speak life continually. You've never lost a battle under God's command, so let me walk in that same victorious faith. No circumstance can stand against divine will, and no delay can cancel what God has spoken. Let this prayer echo in the chambers of heaven, and let its truth ring in every corner of my life. Saint Michael, mighty in battle and gentle in mercy, be my ally, my intercessor, and my friend. May all that has been held back be released now, in the perfect time, by God's perfect hand. Saint Michael, as the world spins fast with noise and need, I seek the quiet place where your presence abides. Let me not be drawn into the rush of fear, but grounded in the stillness of divine trust. You stand at the threshold of the unseen realm, and with you beside me, I shall not be moved. Wherever I walk, go before me with flaming sword, and behind me, guard what has already been won. Let nothing be stolen, delayed, or destroyed, but let all things work together for good. You, the Prince of Heaven's armies, know my steps, and in your knowing, I find courage to continue. Even when the world calls me to give up, you remind me of the victory already declared. This season is not the end of my story. It is a page in the book God is writing. Help me live today with joyful expectation, for the best is not behind me but ahead. Plant faith deep within the soil of my heart. Water it with your presence and protection. When doubt comes like a thief in the night, stand guard and let your fire surround my thoughts. Replace confusion with wisdom from above, and lead me into truth that sets me free. Saint Michael, let me not measure blessings by the world, but by the peace that passes all understanding. Prosperity is the warmth of a hopeful heart, the steady breath of a soul at peace with God. Let every treasure I gain be first spiritual, and may the rest follow according to heaven's will. I refuse the lie that I am forgotten or forsaken. You see me, you fight for me, you carry my name. Even now, angels move at your command, bringing answers, clarity, and divine appointments. Let my eyes be open to the movement of God, and my ears tuned to his whispers of love. Shield me from the pressures of this age, where value is confused with possessions. Help me value character over convenience, faith over fortune, love over luxury. And yet, as God prospers my way forward, let me never forget where it all came from. Let me celebrate every small victory with gratitude, and every large one with reverent praise. Teach me to build with humility and grace, so that the works of my life will stand eternal. With you by my side, I am not just protected, I am positioned to flourish by God's design. Saint Michael, guide me in setting wise goals, aligned not just with ambition, but divine purpose. Let each decision reflect prayer and discernment, not haste or pressure or fear of missing out. I trust that what's meant for me will not pass, and what's not, you will gently remove. Send clarity like morning light through fog, and let truth illuminate every next step. Break cycles of confusion and self-sabotage, so that I may rise into fullness and freedom. You, great defender, break the enemy's plans, and release God's will to flow unchallenged. I declare today a turning point in faith, where lack gives way to abundance, worry surrenders to wonder, and fear bows before divine favor. Saint Michael, walk with me in this new season, and let every moment be touched by grace. Beloved soul, if you've prayed with sincerity and opened your heart, know this: something has already shifted. Saint Michael the Archangel, mighty defender of heaven, has heard your cry and stands at your side. Though the world may still roar and distractions may persist, there is now a divine covering over your life, one that brings peace, favor, and the miracle of prosperity in its highest form. Carry this prayer with you. Return to it in moments of uncertainty. Let it remind you that heaven is closer than you think, and that Saint Michael's sword is raised not in anger, but in defense of the promises spoken over your life. You are not alone. You are protected, chosen, and on your way to something greater than you can imagine. Let your heart rest in this truth. The battle is not yours, but God's, and He has already declared victory. Amen. Comment below: I accept Saint Michael the Archangel to act in my life. Share this prayer with someone who needs a miracle today, because when you bless others, blessings find their way back to you. Your breakthrough begins now.
Additionally, I invite you to watch the video recommended by YouTube, as there is always something valuable to be learned and shared on our spiritual journey. May the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, be with you today and always. Thank you again for your presence. May God bless you and your family.